You're listening to the Things of That Nature podcast. Coming to you from Denver, the Mile High City, is me, your host, Rakshana. I invite you to join me for truly honest, passionate, and fun talks that motivate, invigorate, and maybe inspire. When you're ready in the Mile High, the sky's the limit. Everything and anything goes. So let's start talking about things of that nature. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Things of That Nature podcast. I'm your host, Rakshana, and again, I'm bringing you more and more friends to give us some knowledge, their experience, their world, and this person is actually, this one's a little bit more for me than anybody else, I think. Today, we have Jason Wright, a man from what I have explored is pretty good at startups and being an entrepreneur and being I'm going to call it a newly official entrepreneur. This is going to be interesting. So, hey, Jason, how's it going?
It's going well. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thanks for coming on. And you're in New York, right?
I am not. I'm a little south of Indianapolis, actually.
I have no idea where I got New York from. Just making things up as I go along, I guess.
That sounds good.
So I looked up about you. And the reason why I say this is for me, because I've been doing so much research on business startups and motivating myself. I'm really good at motivating other people, but motivating myself is where I'm like, crap, I gotta get my butt in order.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where did that bug come out from you?
The whole entrepreneurial bug?
Yeah.
So we got to go all the way back to when I was 14 years old. My big passion in life back then was fishing. Really enjoyed fishing. And it's just a nice way to be outside and kind of get away from everything. And at a certain point, I remember telling my mom, I was like, hey, there's some new tackle I want to buy. And she's like, no, you're at your limit. I'm like, what do you mean about my limit? She's like, I'm not buying any more. Like, why not? She's like, because you have more than any adult I've ever met. So you have enough. I was like, but it's not enough. She goes, here, I have an idea. Why don't you go make your own money? Then you can spend it on whatever you like. So I was like, all right, there we go. So I grabbed the family lawn tractor, went to my neighbor's yards. They're always looking raggedy, and said, hey, got a proposition for you. And within a week, I had three yards a week to mow. It was like $75 a week. So back then in the early 90s, it was good money and easy money. And, I got that taste early in life. So I kind of always remember that if you want something, make it happen, right? Just make more money and you can do the stuff you want to do. So that's the short story of going way, way back.
Nice. And I feel like that's something that everyone's parent has told them, especially around like 14.
Oh yeah. I have that conversation with my kids all the time.
How old are your kids?
So I've got a son going into high school. He's 14. I've got a 9-year-old going into 5th grade. It looks like she's about 13, but girls, I guess, mature a little bit quicker. So 9 and 13.
Oh, cool.
9 and 14, excuse me. 9 and 14.
9 and 14. So it is about that time. You'll get hey, Dad, let's get this and let's get that.
Yep. And my daughter, since she's kind of, since she's seen the business I've now go from nothing to something, her thought is like, hey, I want this thing. It's okay, Dad, you can just make more money. And I'm like, whoa, easy now. This isn't Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'm not Uncle Carl, or I'm not Uncle
Uncle Phil.
Uncle Phil. Come on now. So, but no, it's interesting. Entrepreneurship is something that, as an adult, went into the corporate world. I did what everybody told me to do. Actually closed down a landscaping business in college. Finished, got a couple degrees, and I was like, 7 years into the corporate world, I was like, I hate my life. Like, I don't want to do this. It's so unfulfilling. I'll never be happy. So going from corporate job back to nothing to try to build something is probably not the path I would take again. I would side hustle it, but it's very challenging. And as we look back, very rewarding now. But it's much harder to do when you have kids and bills and other stuff like that,
Yeah. So you said you'd side hustle it, and I know you coach as well.
Yep.
Which way do you usually coach your clients?
Yeah, so once upon a time, I was like, side hustles are for weaklings. But the truth is, now that I've gotten older and looked back, you got to be able to pay your bills, right? You got to be able to take care of your basic needs to live. So why put yourself in a position where you put yourself in undue hardship for no reason? So instead of sitting around and doing what you do to unwind every day, spending hours watching TV or whatever, you can spend a little bit of time each day and still create something on the side that, even if it takes a while to catch traction, like, you're not depending on it to pay your bills. So it's just a safer way to start, and it's a lot less stressful for sure.
I agree. That is my life right now. So I agree.
Yep. It's funny because I quit corporate America. What's it been, about four or 5 years now ago, and I had to go back. I hit rock bottom. It was a really bad move, and I tried to go from 80,000 to zero to 80,000 again in 3 months, and it was like still at zero in 3 months, pretty much. But I had to go back, and I hated it, but I was super motivated because I was like, I already know what I'm going back to. I don't want to do it. And I told everybody that hired me, I went to a couple jobs in about a year and a half, I think 3 jobs. And I said, hey, I'm not going to be here long. I'm working on a business, and when it takes off, I'm out of here. And they're all kind of like, yeah, right, you and everybody else. And by the time I got to that third job, it was in the mortgage industry. I was already making really good money part-time. So it was just a matter of time before my wife's like, all right, I've seen enough. Let's see what you can do full-time. So.
What kind of corporate America jobs have you held?
So HR, sales, safety, those are pretty much the big 3. And they're all real similar in a way. They all involve people. So that aspect of things I've always been really good at, connecting with people, building relationships, which is super important with entrepreneurship as well. But the thing for me that just killed me is not having control over my time was always my biggest agitation. And then having somebody pigeonhole me. Hey, I want you to do this thing. I'm like, well, let me do that other thing also, and I don't even need more money. Well, no, I don't want you to do that, but I'm going to do it for free, and I'm better than anybody else at that thing. Let me do it. And they wouldn't let me do it. I can't function that way. So super motivating for me, you know?
Yeah. All right. So your entrepreneur roles, have they been different, similar? Tell us about that.
So right now we've got, my wife and I have 2 companies. In one company, it's old school manufacturing. So my role in that is old school, cutting out fabric. We have a business that makes birthing bed sheets for hospitals. So my role in that is more of a laborer. And I do the little customer relations and the billing, that thing, but it's a smaller company. And then in Intentionally Inspirational, my main business, I'm kind of the face and the personality of the brand. CEO obviously started that, and have a much more dynamic role in that company. So it's a lot more fun. So yeah, they're very different companies. My role's different just because it needs to be, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's cool that you got 2.
Yep. We actually might be starting a 3rd.
Oh, in the same realm?
Custom cookies.
Custom cookies. Who doesn't like cookies?
Everybody likes cookies. So that's my wife's thing. She's super, super creative and artsy with everything. And, we just put double ovens in the house as we replaced an old beat up wall oven. I was like, look, you even have more capacity than the average person. I said, we've got all these little air brushes and projectors and all this crazy technology for decorating cookies. So with the laws here in our state, Indiana, you can't ship them. So it's got to be like a local type pickup thing, which is fine. They'll still sell like crazy around here. So it'll be interesting. As long as it's profitable, I'm in, you know?
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. So with your businesses and such, like, how do you decide which way to grow? Is it just something just like light bulb pops in?
What do you mean, as far as like throughout my day, or like how to get started, or what do you mean exactly?
Well, to getting started, and like the cookie, you realize your wife is artsy and she has all these other abilities.
Yep. That one is kind of her idea. The linens business is one that was in the family, and we bought it from her parents. The digital marketing, Intentionally Inspirational, is more of a passion project for me that I kind of stumbled into the opportunity that I have now, which is digital marketing, right? I figured out I can help people with mindset and motivation and entrepreneurship, something I'm very strong at, but there was no money in it when I got started. I was like, where's the business model here? So as I started to learn digital marketing to get my message out there, I quickly noticed that other people were like, hey, that funnel thing you built, will you build me one? Okay. So then after doing that 10 or 15 or 20 times, I was like, wait, there might actually be something here that I can grow. And it's just, grown from there. And it's been really, really an interesting ride, but it's the demand for that's never going away. It's only going to get stronger and stronger. So it's a great niche we've stumbled into for sure.
Sweet. So without giving the funnel secret away, what is the funnel?
So the way that I teach and describe funnels is kind of three pieces, right? You have the traffic, which could be social media, paid ads, content, et cetera, podcasts like this one. You've got the front end, which is the part that people actually see and interact with. And that's what most people think of. They think of the front end. And then the most powerful, most important piece is actually the back end. That's the stuff you don't see. That's the email marketing, the automation, the logic, all that stuff. So when most people come to me, they either said, hey, I need help, and they don't call it this, but I need help with the front end. Like, can you build me a funnel in ClickFunnels? They don't really understand what a funnel is a lot of times, but they understand the buzzwords, and they know that sometimes successful people will have them, or they want to run ads. So people will come to me, and based on their question, I know exactly where their mindset kind of in their journey with all this. If somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, I need help on the back end, I need help with my email marketing, my marketing automation, I'm like, all right, we've got an entrepreneur here that clearly has an established business and know who their customer is. They know enough to know that what they're talking about with me now is very, very important. So it's interesting. In the first 5 minutes of talking to somebody, I know where they're at and if I'm a good fit for them at this time in their journey for sure.
Sweet. Has there been any projects, funnels that you've curated that has been your favorite?
That's an interesting question. I don't really think I wouldn't say I have a favorite. I like it when a client understands who their customer is. They understand what pain they're trying to solve. I love it when we can talk about a traffic strategy, put together an offer that's actually going to resonate with that audience, and we see success. If somebody lets me work through that whole process with them, we're going to figure it out. We're going to do, it's when the person thinks that they know better and they want what they want, even though it makes no sense. Sometimes they'll say, hey, that's a lot of money for what you want, but I'm not going to help you with it because you're wasting your money. Like, you're doing everything out of order. And I would rather you just save your money, or if you want to spend it, you can spend it somewhere else, because we're doing this wrong. Like, let's set you up for success, but if you don't want to and you do it your way, I'm not the guy for you, Oh,
I see.
Yeah.
So you give them the range. Now, would you work with only startups, or would you work with someone who has somewhat of an established business already?
Yeah, so startups for the funnel aren't generally my focus. Generally, the dream client is, $300K in revenue up to maybe 10 or 15 million a year. Sometimes startups can be good clients with this specific piece of the business if they've already got like investor money or that type of thing. Because here's the thing. If you don't know for sure what you want to do, you don't know for sure who you're talking to, we're talking about funnels too soon. We need to back up and figure those things out first. That's more of the coach in me that comes out, or the mentor in me that comes out for that reason.
All right, cool. And you know what? That makes sense. You kind of got to know, or you got to be led to figure that out.
Oh, yeah. I didn't figure it out quickly at all. It was very awkward when people are like, so what do you do? Now, we live in a neighborhood where a lot of people don't leave their house. Like, not because of COVID, like I don't know what anybody does for income. Nobody knows what I do. You see the same people every day. And now when people say, what do you do? Just for my own entertainment, I keep it really vague just to mess with people. I'm like, I do stuff online. They're like, what? I'm like, I don't want to talk about that. Just for fun, just because it's funny to see their face. But when I used to try to tell people, it was really hard because it was always changing, or I hadn't figured it out. So everybody goes through that at some point. It's normal, but it would definitely be challenging.
Keep the suspense going. And you're also an author.
I am.
How many books have you gone through?
As far as how many have I written?
Yes, yeah, that's what I mean. How many books have you written?
Just one. So it's definitely a mindset motivation book. It's called The Backwards Route to Forward Progress. And you can sit down and knock it out in a day type of read, but I think for the right person, kind of like what you talked about earlier, it can motivate you and inspire you, but ultimately you've got to take consistent action in anything you want to do if you want to see results in life, right? Weight loss, building muscle,